Friends, we are moving on in our process. So we have our image that has been traced and expanded. So we've got all our little points and paths that we're able to work with. So now we're going to start duplicating this image so that we can create different layers for each of our laser cuts corresponding with all of our different colors. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here to our layer that says photo. We're going to go up here to the top corner of this little layers panel, and you'll see you've got three little lines, and you're going to click on it. You have all these different choices. We are going to duplicate the photo layer. So we're going to click on duplicate photo, and it's going to duplicate this layer. So we're going to actually double click on this, and we're going to call this layer, actually we're going to call this base layer. So we know this is the bottom layer that all our pieces are going to build upon. And the base layer is always a complete cut of the whole entire shape of your object. So I'm zooming in a little bit, Command plus, so we can see it better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock my photo layer because I don't want to accidentally mess up or do anything with it. And you do that by clicking in this little box that's right. This is the eyeball. This turns our image on and off. And if you look right here, you really can't tell the difference until I cut both of them off. We'll be using that a lot in the future. And the little space in between the eyeball and where your layer's name is, you have a little space, and if you click in the space, it will add a lock. And so now if I go on that layer, if you notice, if I try to do anything on that layer, it's not going to let me. So that's why we lock that layer. I don't want to accidentally do something on that layer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this base layer. Now I want everything on this layer to be one color because it's going to be my main cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it all. I'm going to click up here with my selection key. It's the black arrow because I'm going to select the whole thing. You could also do Command A on your keyboard to select everything. So I'm Command A, got everything selected. Now I want to turn this in one complete shape. So right now I've got all these different shapes, and I know that I have different shapes because I've got these blue outlines telling me that that's a shape and that's a shape, and these are all different shapes, but I want it to be all one shape. So I'm going to go up here to Window, and I'm going to open up my Pathfinder panel. So Window and Pathfinder, again it's alphabetical, and you see you have this little panel that pops up right here. It says Pathfinder, and it's got these different shape modes. We're going to click on the first shape mode. And again, you have to make sure that your object is selected, and I know it's selected because I've got my blue bounding box around it, my black arrow selected, blue bounding box. So I'm going to select all again. Now I'm going to click on the first one that says Unite. It's going to make all these shapes merge together into one shape. So now you notice that everything is one color. That means this is now one shape, and voila, it has created this beautiful cut line for me to work on. Now I'm going to do a little tiny bit of editing right here because I do not want the eyes to be cut out. Right now they're going to be cuts because there's a blue line which is going to be your vector cut. So I'm going to zoom in either with your magnifying glass, or you can do your Command plus and minus. So I'm going to hold down my space bar to grab this and do a little tiny bit of editing. So there's a couple things going on that I need to fix. First thing I need to fix is right here, this little antenna here. If you notice, when I zoom in, Command plus, these two lines are really close together, which means when that laser comes around and cuts here, it is going to cut that antenna right off. And we do not want that. We want to keep that antenna as fat, so we're going to make it a little bit fatter. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we are going to zoom in a little bit more, Command plus. I'm going to get my direct selection key, which is the white arrow. And when I click on this little, I'm going to take the eyeball off of my bottom one. When I click on this, you notice that it's got a blue highlight on it. Now I can manipulate just this point. So I'm going to click on that one little box and I'm going to pull it out just a little bit, click, hold, drag, and I can even straighten it out by taking that little handle and pulling it that way. Take the other little handle and pulling it that way. And we're going to go from there. Over here, we're going to move that little handle, and then we're going to move this little handle. And so we've made it a little bit fatter. I'm going to move over here. I've got these little points right here I want to get rid of because that's going to be a weird little cut. So I'm going to click on P minus, and I'm going to get rid of pinpoints. So P minus on my keyboard, and that allows me to get rid of these extra little points that I do not want. And I believe there was another one somewhere over here. Looks pretty good. I'm going to zoom out. And I am pretty happy with that first layer, although I see one little place right here. And I'm going to zoom in. And I think it looks okay. So I'm going to leave it the way it is, although I keep seeing this stray little piece right here. Okay, it looks all right. Now, see, I have this stray little piece right here that will actually turn into a cut. So again, I'm going to click on my pen tool or go pen tool, delete anchor point or P minus, and I'm going to get rid of these anchor points right here. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. I'm going to zoom out. And I have my first base layer created. So we are going to click on that layer and save it.